Hi guys, welcome back to the Real Estate Insight, the podcast where we break down the latest property launches using data, strategy, and a little bit of foresight. I'm your host, Ray.
And I'm Jenn. Today, we have a very exciting project on the table, Dunearn House. It's highly anticipated 2026 new launch located right in the heart of District 11, 6th Avenue area within the CCR, Core Central Region.
Yes, that's right. But before we dive into the numbers, we need to get our standard disclaimer out of the way.
Yes.
The information we are discussing today is based on the available market data as of June 2026.
Exactly. Real estate investments carry risks. Data informs, but decisions are yours.
Perfect. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Dunearn House. We are going to analyze this project using our signature Square Foot Property Framework, SQFT, supply and demand, quantum price, future growth, and transition strategy. That's right, the S stands for supply and demand. The market liquidity, which is the absorption rate of the current available listings in the vicinity. Here, we also identified any undersupply or oversupply in the specific unit types in the region.
So next is Q, which is stand for the quantum price analysis. This is where we crunch the numbers, comparing the project's pricing against similar developments, factoring the age, school premium, mall proximity, and other harmonization adjustments to normalize the resale dollar per square foot to the same attributes as the new launch to give you apple-to-apple comparison.
Yes, then we move on to F, which represents future growth potential. We use the master plan to determine any future upside from urban planning, upcoming infrastructure, and residential developments that could enhance the project desirability. It's about looking beyond today's value.
And finally, T stands for transition, which is the exit strategy.
Yes.
Yes, this pillar focus on the exit plan, exit liquidity, where the future buyer pool and holding period.
Yep.
So let's kick things off by looking at the genesis of this project, the land bid. The Dunearn Road GLS at Turf City was fiercely contested.
Yep.
And we actually saw 9 developers competing for this prime land parcel.
9 developers!
Exactly.
Wow, which signals a strong developer confidence in this Turf City transformation. The winning bid went to Fraser's Property, Suki Sui House, and CSC Land Group at 1,410 per square foot per plot ratio, which is PSF PPR.
And what's fascinating here is if you look at the second place bid from CTL, only an incredible tight margin of 3.7%
Wow.
difference, and that was 1360 PSF PPR between the first and the second bids.
Yes, that's right. So when the top developers are bidding that closely, it actually validates the land value. They clearly see a first mover advantage in the entire Turf City precinct, which is highly contested again at the second Dunearn plot April this year.
Absolutely. Launch date is expected to be around July 2026. Dunearn House will feature 380 units spread across 2 19-story blocks and 3 10-story blocks. And based on that 1,410 per square foot land cost, analysts are estimating a launch price somewhere between 2,009 and 3,001 per square foot.
Yes, so let's take a look at the unit mix. And because that tells us who the developer is targeting, it's heavily weighted towards smaller units. 46% of the project, or about 176 units, are 2 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms plus study layouts, ranging from 530 to 680 square feet, which is a very sweet spot.
Next, you have 25% of 3-bedroom and 3-bedroom plus study layouts. 96 units between 870 to 1,100 square feet. The largest is the 4-bedroom and the 4-bedroom plus study, which
It's about 29%, right?
yes,
Yeah.
or 108 units, 1,180 square feet to 1,380 square feet.
Oh, that's a very decent size for 4-bedroom plus study. Moving on to the site plan, the developer has categorized the stacks into distinct collections. The luxury collection and the Pinnacle collection.
Right. The Pinnacle collections are typically the premium stacks, the larger 3-bedroom premium and the 4-bedroom unit.
Why are these stacks better?
Because the Pinnacle collection has less density on each floor plate. 4 units per floor,
Oh.
which means they are all corner units
Nice.
to maximize the unblocked views, either facing the lush greenery of Bukit Timah area or the pool view.
Okay, so exactly if you are a buyer, especially an owner-occupied, looking at 3 or 4 bedroom layouts, you might want to prioritize these stacks. The luxury collection, which houses the 2 bedrooms and the standard 3 bedrooms, is also well designed, which dominates the south part of the development. So some stacks might have view over the GCB and cliffs. So let's transition into our square foot property framework, starting with S for supply and demand. So to gauge the demand, we look at the transactions to listing ratio in the CCR. So simply put, we take the number of transactions and divide it by the number of active listings. So the lower the number, the weaker the demand relative to supply.
And the numbers we find here are actually quite telling. The overall for the CCR has a ratio of 0.22 index, which is actually pretty low.
Yep.
But statistics shows developers sold 1,916 new private homes in the CCR in 2025. And that means it's the highest sales volume in 4 years.
Yes.
And when we actually drill down into specific unit types for the overall CCR, 1-bedroom units are sitting at 0.16 index, 2 bedrooms at 0.21, 3 bedrooms 0.36, 4 bedrooms at 0.19 ratio, which means that for a listing in CCR, it would take some time for the unit to be sold.
Yep, that's right. But let's take a look at the immediate neighbours to have a real sense on the ground. Take 4th Avenue Residences, a 2018 project. So their overall ratio actually is very low, 0.06. So their 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom ratios are 0.03 and 0.06 respectively. So that indicates a very sluggish demand for smaller units in that specific pocket, not quite aligned to the CCR overall performance.
But the 3-bedder and the 4-bedder are more promising. The 7 units are actually transacted versus 4 available units on the sale side. So it will depend on how fast the market can actually absorb out this 4 unit supply now. So whereas for the 4-bedder segment, 2 transactions for the past year, but there are no current supply now. And this shows that the area is still more inclined towards owner occupation rather than investment.
Yes, so it gets more interesting now with Royal Green, a freehold project from 2019. The overall ratio is 0.18. The 2-bedroom segment, which is the smallest unit type in the development, and it performs with the CCR region at 0.21 index for the 2-bedroom. But for their 4-bedroom units, only 1 out of 22 units has changed hands so far since its launch.
Wow!
Yep.
So nobody is selling.
Yes, that's right. So it's more for owner occupying stay in this project. We can see from the ratio. So in the 3-bedroom segment, only 3 units transacted and 3 units are available for sale now. So it shows that the owner stay attributes are still very strong in the region.
Yes, from the data, it shows more owner-occupied rather than investment in this area. Therefore, buyers are more inclined towards bigger unit types in this specific Bukit Timah stretch for own stay.
Yes, that's right. So therefore, when we rate the S category for Dunearn House, we are giving it a 3 out of 5. The broader CCR demand is okay, but the localized, so immediate demand for the resale in the specific micro market is not particularly strong right now for the smaller type unit. But the emphasis should be placed more on the bigger unit types, right?
Alright.
Now for my favorite part, the Q, quantum price. Is the Dunearn House actually a safe buy since demand is not that strong here?
Well, let's break down the math here using a 3-bedroom condo comparison. The land cost for Dunearn House is 1,410 per square foot. So it gives an estimated break-even cost of 2,558 PSF.
Yep.
So if the developer targets a standard 20% profit margin, we will be looking around the estimated launch price to be about 3,069 per square foot.
Yes. So how does that compare to the neighbours? If we look at 4th Avenue Residences, after adjusting for the age and lease decay, its harmonized adjusted price sits at $3,065 PSF.
It's quite on par.
Yes,
right?
it's very close. So Royal Green, adjusted for its freehold status and age, also sits at around adjusted 3,181 PSF.
So at 3069 per square foot, Dunearn House is priced exactly at market value. So it's fair. But here is the kicker. There is another new launch that's coming right next door in 2027
Yes.
by Wing Tai and Metro
Joint,
Joint Developer,
yep.
which is just right next to the project on Dunearn Road.
Yes, the land was sold for 1,628 PSF.
So it's about $200 more.
Yes, significant higher than the Dunearn House. So the break-even for that 2027 project next year is already at $2,760. So by the time if they add on their profit margin, they'll have to launch at a much higher price point. So guys, if you are planning to get a unit in this location, you should seriously consider, because next year, 2027, when Wing Tai project is launched, the launching price, you think will be higher or lower?
Much higher.
Do you want to wait and buy something more expensive next year?
So this gives Dunearn House a massive price shield as a first mover's advantage. If you can secure a unit at Dunearn House below 3,000 per square foot, you're entering at a highly defensive price point compared to future supply. And because of this, if the pricing strategy holds below 3K, we will give Q rating a solid 5 out of 5.
Yes.
So our analysis positions Dunearn House as a safe bet if and only if the developer price it around 3069 per square foot and below.
Yes, so hopefully the developer is watching this podcast and then do their pricing effectively. So let's talk about the F, future growth. What is going to drive the prices up in the long term? The answer is the Turf City transformation.
Yes, right now Turf City is an established area with matured amenities, the grandstand, and lots of greenery.
Yep.
But the URA master plan is set to completely overhaul this precinct. So we are talking about the transformative urban planning with another upcoming Turf City MRT,
yes.
on the Cross Island Line. It's expected to be opened by 2032. So, but the timeline has not been officially confirmed, so to boost the connectivity over there. So these factors act as a catalyst for long-term capital appreciation.
Yep, so the future planning map also shows massive residential zoning. But the most important element here is the introduction of the public housing. Yes, HDB BTOs are coming to Bukit Timah.
This is a game changer. Turf City will see the first HDB flats in Bukit Timah in our history.
Yes.
This has never happened before,
Yup.
and it will happen in the near future. But this won't be your average BTO. They will likely fall under the prime of plus housing models, meaning a 10-year minimum occupation period and a strict resale restriction.
Yes, that's right. So analysts are forecasting some eye-watering prices for these BTOs. A 4-room flat could launch between 6 to 700k.
Wow.
So guys, can you imagine how much are they going to sell when the units are actually MOP?
I think it will cross the 1.2 million
Yes,
mark by then.
easily. You know why? It's because it's in District 10, next to the top school like Medalist Girls' School and Raffles Girls' Primary, and you'll be served by the upcoming Turf City MRT on the Cross Island Line by 2032.
And because of this transformation is so massive and will be completely redefining the demographic and infrastructure of the area, we are rating F for the future growth a 5 out of 5.
So the catch is time. And that brings us to T, transition strategy.
Exit strategy.
Yes, who is your future buyer when you want to exit Dunearn House?
Ideally, your future buyers are HDB upgraders from those Turf City BTOs.
Yep.
They will have sold their flats for a premium by then. Imagine 1.2 million, how much would they earn?
I think at least.
Yeah, at least. And they will want to stay in the same prestigious neighborhood. But let's look at the timeline.
Yep. So the URA master plan is finalized in 2025. Infrastructure works happen in the late 2020. So the first BTO won't even launch until the early 2030. Maybe 2031 to 2033.
Okay.
Then it takes about 4 to 5 years to build them.
And because they are likely to be prime and plus housing models, they will come with a 10-year MOP. So if they launch in 2032. Finish building in 2037, plus
10
another
years.
10 years MOP. These HDB owners won't be able to sell and upgrade until
2047. Yes, exactly. So if you are buying Dunearn House expecting a quick flip in 3 to 5 years time, the Turf City transformation will not help you. So if you are looking at the 15 to 20 years wait to fully capitalize on that specific pool of HDB upgraders demand, then that'll be possible.
Yeah, because the timeline is so drawn out, requiring you to hold until 2045-47 to see the full effect of the transformation. So we will rate this T, which is the transition strategy, 3 out of 5. It's a secure exit plan, but it requires immense patience.
Yes, that's right. So let's summarize our square foot property ratings for Dunearn House. Supply and demand as we rank it 3 out of 5 due to currently low localized demand. So
Quantum price?
quantum
5
price.
out of 5.
Yes.
So, but assuming it's a highly defensive entry price below 3,000 per square foot.
Yes, so for future growth F, we rate it as 5 out of 5 thanks to the massive pristine level of Turf City transformation.
And the transition strategy T, which is the exit strategy, 3 out of 5.
Yep.
Because realizing that growth actually requires time for you to hold until 2045.
Yes.
So averaging that out, our overall strategic verdict for Dunearn House is a solid 3 out of 5. It is not a speculative short-term play, it is a long-term generational wealth preservation and appreciation asset. If you have a holding power and you can get in at the right price, go for the bigger unit
Yes,
type.
that's
Yeah,
right.
it's a fantastic project actually. But if you need liquidity in 5 years, you might want to look elsewhere instead.
Yes, well said, Jen. So that wraps up our deep dive into Dunearn House. So if you want to see if this project fits your personal portfolio, don't forget to reach out a complimentary property portfolio review. Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Insight, and we'll catch you in the next launch. See you.
Bye.